They needed to explain the next steps. "Ready?" Lauren asked quietly once they'd come to a halt, although they both knew neither of them could ever truly be ready for this.
"Yes, Mum. At least they're expecting us, so it won't be a surprise."
Before leaving, he'd contacted Sonia the Flo to let her know the situation. They had wanted to ensure both parents were there and could be informed at the same time. "I'll take the lead," Lauren said, checking her reflection in the rearview mirror. Matt nodded. Sonia opened the door before they could ring the bell. "Hello, Mom, Sarge. Mr. and Mrs. Glenister are waiting for you in the drawing room." When Lauren and Matt entered the room, Mr. Glenister jumped up from where he was sitting beside his wife.
"You've solved it?"
Mr. Glenister asked, his voice rough with emotion.
"You know who murdered our son. That's why you're here, isn't it?"
"Please sit down," Lauren said as she sat opposite. And Matt did the same. "Would you like some tea?" Mrs. Glenister asked.
"No, thank you, we're fine,"
Matt said, glancing at Lauren, who he could see was steeling herself for the announcement. "Mr. and Mrs. Glenister," Lauren began, her composure perfect, but her eyes full of compassion. "We've completed our investigation into Finley and Jasmine's deaths, and we know exactly what happened that day. The person responsible is now in custody." Mrs. Glenister leant forward, clutching her husband's hand. "Thank goodness. Who did it? We need to know." Lauren stiffened slightly beside Matt, and he heard her take a deep breath. "It was your daughter, Faith." The silence that followed was interminable. "Faith," Mrs. Glenister whispered. "Our Faith? No. There must be some mistake." "I'm so sorry," Lauren continued gently, "but the evidence is conclusive, and Faith has admitted it." Understanding began to dawn in Mr. Glenister's eyes.
"Dear God,"
he breathed.
"Why?"
Faith had developed romantic feelings for Jasmine, Lauren explained, but those feelings weren't reciprocated. She'd also become convinced that Finley wasn't good enough for Jasmine. The engagement was the final straw, and that's why she decided to do what she did. Mr. Glenister glanced at his wife.
"The way she looked at that girl. We did notice, didn't we? But we thought Faith was jealous of their relationship because she wasn't seeing anyone. We had no idea that..."
His words fell away. Mrs. Glenister, her face ashen, stared at Lauren and Matt. "I don't understand. Faith seemed as devastated as we were. We cried together, talked about Finley together. She even helped us pick out his coffin. Yet all the time..." Her voice broke.
"What happens now?"
Mr. Glenister asked. "The evidence will go to the Crown Prosecution Service, and they'll get back to us regarding the charges. You'll need to find her some legal representation."
"Yes, of course."
He paused, wiping the tears from his eyes.
"Can we see her?"
he asked, but was looking at his wife, as if seeking confirmation that's what they wanted. "I'm afraid not. But we will need both of you to come to the station to make a statement over the next day or so." Mr. Glenister nodded and then sank into the sofa.
"Both of them,"
he murmured.
"We've lost both our children. One to death, and one to..."
He couldn't finish. Lauren leant forward slightly, her hands clutched together. "I know nothing we say can soften the blow of such an awful situation, but Sonia will support you through the process. There are also several excellent counselling services in Cornwall that specialise in..." "No," Mrs. Glenister interrupted, her voice suddenly sharp. "We want to be alone. Please will you leave us?" Matt and Lauren exchanged a loaded look. The Glenisters weren't going to like what Lauren was about to tell them. "We sympathise with how you must be feeling," Lauren said, "but unfortunately it's not that simple because we require forensics to go through Faith's bedroom and the rest of the house." "Why?" Mrs. Glenister demanded. "Faith's room, and by default the rest of the house, is now a potential crime scene. We're very sorry about this, but it's procedure and can't be changed. I've arranged for forensics to arrive a little later. I wanted time to explain everything to you." "Is there anywhere you can stay while the house is out of bounds?" Lauren asked. "You can take some belongings with you."
"My wife's sister lives in Lamorna. We can go there,"
Mr. Glenister said.
I'll message her now.
Thank you. We'll leave you for now. Sonia will help with anything you need. As they walked back to the car, leaving the Glenisters to grapple with the cruel truth that had taken both their children in very different ways, Matt heard the first seagulls of the evening wheeling overhead, their cries carrying on the salt wind from the harbour. It was as if they were oblivious to the tragedy going on beneath them. Lauren paused before opening the car door. I hope I never have to do that again. We've destroyed the lives of those people, and I doubt they'll ever recover.
We were simply the messengers. At least they heard the truth from us, not whatever twisted version the papers will run tomorrow,
Matt said. You're right, of course, but it still wasn't easy. Matt nodded, understanding completely. They'd watched a family confront a second devastating loss. Not to death this time, but to something that might be even harder to bear. Chapter 31. Thursday the 14th of September. When Matt returned to the office, he was surprised to see Tamsin staring intently at Ellie's computer screen. He headed over to them.
Still here?
He said to Tamsin. Yes, Ellie's catching me up with everything. You don't mind, do you? Tamsin replied.
Of course not. It will be strange on Monday after being off for so long, so this will help.
Billy headed over to them, a mischievous grin on his face.
Hey Sarge, now that the case is closed, fancy sharing any office gossip you've been holding back?
Matt raised an eyebrow.
Why would you think I've got gossip to share? I'm shocked you'd even suggest such a thing, Billy.
Clem chuckled from his desk.
The only gossip around here is how many biscuits you managed to sneak from the packet left in the kitchen, Billy. Oi,
Billy protested, but his grin widened.
I'll have you know I'm on a strict diet of... Oh, who am I kidding? I can't keep away from them.
Ellie rolled her eyes fondly. I thought I was dating a health nut. Health nut? Tamsin snorted. More like a junk food squirrel. The office erupted in laughter, the tension from the case dissipating in the warm camaraderie. Matt shook his head, smiling.
All right, you lot. Less chatting, more working. We still need to get the case details to the CPS as soon as possible. Yes, sir,
Billy said, giving a mock salute before heading back to his desk. As the afternoon wore on, the banter continued intermittently, punctuating the sound of typing and phone calls.
Hey, Ellie,
Clem called out during a lull.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get back to Lanchester?
Ellie thought for a moment. Go for a curry at the Royal Bengal restaurant. I've missed their tikka masala.
No curry?
Billy perked up.
Do you think they deliver to Penzance?
In your dreams, mate, Tamsin laughed. Though I wouldn't say no to a good curry myself. Maybe we should make that our leaving do for Ellie. Matt nodded, warming to the idea.
Not a bad call, Tamsin. What do you think, Ellie? A curry for your send-off?
Sounds perfect, Ellie agreed, her smile tinged with a hint of sadness.
Right then, curry it is, Billy said. We'll meet at the pub first and make a night of it. We can celebrate solving cases and clogged arteries.
Billy, Ellie admonished, but she was laughing along with everyone else. After 30 minutes, Matt stood up and stretched his tired muscles.
I'm done for the day. Let's go for a quick drink to celebrate solving the case. I'll go and let the DI know.
Once he returned from Lauren's office, the team started packing up, the office filled with the sounds of drawers closing and computers shutting down.
First round's on me, Clem offered. In that case, I'm ordering the most expensive thing on the menu, Billy quipped.
It's a pub, Billy, not a Michelin star restaurant, Tamsin retorted. We're having a drink. As they filed out, Matt hung back, catching Ellie's eye. He motioned her over, feeling the need to have a few words.
Listen, Ellie,
he said quietly.
I know things have been hectic, but I wanted to say I'm really happy for you and Billy, and I'm going to miss having you on the team.
Ellie smiled, a hint of sadness in her eyes. Thanks, Matt. I'm going to miss being here too. But Lanchester isn't that far. I'll be back to visit. Matt nodded, forcing a smile.
I know you will. And hey, maybe I'll even make it up there sometime.
I hope so. Does that mean lunch tomorrow is off? Ellie asked with a slight frown.
No, But we'll be off-site then, and I didn't want to talk work.
Ellie walked away to join Billy, and Matt took a deep breath, the drama of the day suddenly catching up with him. He'd have a quick drink and then head to visit his father. Hopefully, they'd get the confirmation they were all hoping for, that he could come home. Chapter 32. Saturday, the 16th of September. Matt stood by the window in the lounge of his parents' house, his eyes scanning the quiet street outside. The constant rain had finally given way to some weak sunshine, and the anticipation of his dad's return was building, although he'd be lying if he didn't admit to being worried about his future.
Are they here yet?
Danny asked impatiently, standing next to him on her tiptoes. Her small hands were pressed against the glass, leaving smudges that Matt would normally rush to clean. Today, he couldn't bring himself to care. Matt smiled at his daughter's enthusiasm, a surge of love for her coursing through him.
I can see the car coming down the street,
he said, placing a hand on Danny's shoulder. He could feel her vibrating with excitement under his touch.
But I don't want you jumping all over Grandpa when he comes inside. He hasn't been well, remember?
Danny nodded solemnly, clutching a piece of paper in her hands. The edges were slightly crumpled from her grip.
I know that. I want to give him my get well card that I made with Grandma.
I'm sure he's going to love it.
Matt ran a hand over his daughter's hair, smoothing down the flyaway strands. The sound of the car pulling up outside and reversing into a parking space made them both turn. Matt's heart rate picked up as he heard car doors slamming shut. The door opened, and Danny burst out, unable to contain her excitement.
Grandpa! Grandpa!
She called, her voice ringing out in the quiet street.
Hello, little one,
Matt's dad replied, his voice warm but tired.
Where's Grandma?
Danny asked.
She's bringing my things inside.
Matt held open the door as his mum, loaded with a small suitcase and a pillow that she'd taken to the hospital, rushed up to the front door. He turned to his dad, who was bending down slightly to greet Danny. His movements were stiff.
Let's go into the lounge,
Matt suggested, while studying his dad carefully. He looked okay, just very tired. The hospital stay had left its mark. There were dark circles under his eyes, and his clothes seemed to hang a bit looser on his frame, despite him being in there less than a week. That's a good idea, Matt's mum said. You all go into the lounge, and I'll make us a cup of tea.
I'll come with you, Mum,
Matt added, sensing his mother might need a moment to talk. He caught her eye, noting the weariness and worry etched on her face.
I'll look after Grandpa,
Danny said, holding up the colourful card she'd made.
I've made you a special card.
Thank you, Princess, Matt's father said, his face softening as he and Danny sat down on the sofa. Matt watched his father wincing slightly as he lowered himself onto the cushions, all the time trying to hide his discomfort from his granddaughter. Matt walked into the kitchen with his mum, his head full of questions and concerns. The familiar space felt different somehow, as if the worry of the past few days had seeped into the walls. Once they were alone, he turned to her.
He's looking okay. What did the doctors say? I didn't want to ask in front of him.
His mother sighed and leant back against the worktop. The overhead light cast shadows on her face, emphasising the lines of worry. They've said that we're to take this as a warning. He's got to take it easy for the next little while. He's got some pills to take on a regular basis to keep his blood pressure down. That's it, really. I'm not sure I understood everything they said, all those long words. But we've got to see our doctor, and I'll ask him to explain it to me. Matt nodded, processing the information. He began mechanically preparing the tea, the familiar routine helping to calm his nerves.
Did they say how long it will be until Dad is back to normal?
We'll have a new normal, his mother replied, her voice heavy with resignation. We're going to be eating well, and he's going to take plenty of exercise. There's to be no stress and strain from now on. Matt took a deep breath. It was time to bring up the idea he'd been contemplating.
I've been thinking, Mum, and I don't want you to say no because I think it's a good idea.
He paused, gathering his thoughts. The kettle boiled furiously, filling the silence.
I'm going to look into buying a property around here,
I think Dad needs the peace and quiet, and Danny needs more space so she can charge around. But his mum started to protest, stopping when Matt held up her hand. He could see the conflict in her eyes. She was torn between wanting to keep the family close and recognising the need for change. But nothing, Mum. I think it's for the best. You know there's a house down the road that's up for sale? If I buy it, we'll be very close, and we can still do everything together. You can have Danny like you do now and take her to nursery. I was thinking that now she's a bit older, it would be good for her to go more often. The kitchen suddenly felt too small with the weight of the decision pressing down on them.
And I'll still be around to help you with Dad.
Yes, I know that, love, his mother said, her voice soft. She busied herself with arranging biscuits on a plate, although her hands were shaking. But still, I think you'll enjoy having a bit of peace and quiet. You know yourself that we're so cramped in this place, and if anyone wants to come and stay, it's impossible. Well, I suppose it could work. Matt nodded, a sense of relief washing over him, because his mum was actually considering the idea.
I think it will be good for you and Dad to have more time to yourselves.
But you know we'll look after Danny at any time.
Yes, of course I know that, Matt replied, especially when I'm working late.
And you might like some privacy too. You know, if you ever want to bring someone home, his mum said with a wink.
Maybe,
he said, dismissing her with a wave of his hand. No way was he ready for anything like that. Not yet. He couldn't do that to Lee's memory. His mother was quiet for a moment, then nodded slowly. You know what? Your idea is a good one. But don't tell your dad yet, because he'll think it's all due to him being sick, and we don't want that weighing on his mind.
Agreed. I'm going to have a look at the house, and you can come with me if you like. If we both think it's right for me and Danny, I'll put in an offer.
Perfect. Now what time are you heading out? His mum asked, changing the subject. You've got Ellie's farewell party, haven't you? A twinge of sadness hit him at the thought of Ellie leaving. The kitchen suddenly felt too warm, too confining.
I'm leaving around 7.
His mother gave him a knowing look. You're going to miss her, aren't you?
Yes, and I'm not the only one,
he said with a smile. What do you mean? His mother asked.
She struck up a relationship with Billy.
What Billy? The one that you've often talked about? The one that's a bit... His mother trailed off, raising an eyebrow. Matt chuckled.
Oh, Billy's fine now, especially since being with Ellie. It's an odd combination, but I think she's good for him. She certainly calmed him down a bit.
He paused.
We're all going to miss Ellie. She's been a fantastic addition to the team.
But you've got the other officer coming back, haven't you?
Tamsin. We're all looking forward to her return to work. She's also a good member of the team.
While finishing preparing the tea, Matt allowed his mind to wander. He thought about the potential new house, imagining Danny running around a larger garden and his parents relaxing in a quieter space. He also thought about his father's health and the adjustments they'd need to make, the new routines they'd have to establish. And then he thought about Ellie leaving for Lenchester and how Billy was going to cope. Life kept moving forward whether they were ready or not. Carrying the tray of tea into the lounge, Matt smiled at the scene in front of him. His father was listening intently to Danny, who was explaining her card in great detail, and she'd snuggled up to him, her small hand patting his arm gently, while at the same time his mother fussed with cushions and blankets, making sure everyone was comfortable. It warmed Matt's heart, reminding him of what was truly important. Settling into a chair and balancing his teacup, Matt made a silent promise to himself. He'd make these changes work for his parents, for Danny, and for himself. He owed it to Lee, who he often sensed was close by, looking down on them. Whatever changes lay ahead, whatever challenges they might face, they'd face them together. And that, he realised, was all that really mattered. Chapter 33. Saturday the 16th of September. Lauren pushed open the heavy wooden door of the Crown, the familiar scent of beer and pub food hitting her nostrils. The noise of laughter and chatter swept over her as she stepped inside, a stark contrast to the quiet evening outside. She paused for a moment, letting her eyes adjust to the dimly lit interior. The pub was bustling with Saturday night energy. Every table seemed to be occupied, and the bar was 3 deep with people jostling to be served. Lauren cast an eye over the room, looking for her team. She'd been debating how long to stay at Ellie's leaving celebration because she didn't want to get in the way. Maybe she'd stay for a drink, but not go for the curry. The team probably wouldn't want her hanging around anyway. Finally, she spotted them at a large round table in the corner. Matt, Billy, Ellie, Tamsin, Clem and Jenna. All of them were laughing, probably at something Billy had said, knowing him. His hands were gesticulating wildly, and his face was animated as he regaled the group with some tale. Lauren took a deep breath, smoothed down her shirt, and headed over with a smile. As she approached, she caught the tail end of the story.
And then the suspect says, "Well, officer, if I knew it was illegal, I wouldn't have done it in front of the police station."
Billy finished with a flourish. The group erupted into laughter, and Clem nearly choked on his pint. Matt was shaking his head, a grin plastered on his face. "Who wants a drink?" Lauren said, trying to inject some enthusiasm into her voice. She felt slightly out of place, and that she was intruding on their fun. A chorus of orders came her way, accompanied by grateful smiles. She took a mental note of each request, nodding as she did so.
"I'll help you, Mum,"
Billy said, jumping up eagerly. His chair scraped loudly against the floor, drawing a few looks from nearby tables. They made their way to the bar, weaving through the crowd until they were behind several other people waiting to be served. "You'll miss Ellie, won't you?" Lauren said, glancing sideways at Billy as they waited. She'd already noticed how his eyes kept darting back to the table where Ellie sat.
"Yes, Mum, I will,"
Billy replied, his usual animated face softening. There was a vulnerability in his expression that Lauren rarely saw. Lauren hesitated, then decided to press on. "Is it serious between the two of you?" She immediately backtracked. "Oh, sorry, I shouldn't really ask.
"No, it's fine. You can ask, Mum,"
Billy interrupted, smiling.
"Ellie's very different from any other girl I've dated. We're going to see if we can make it work. I can go to Linchester to see her, and she can come down here sometimes."
Lauren nodded, surprised by Billy's openness. "Have you ever visited Linchester before?"
"No, but I'm looking forward to going there. To see the real murder capital of the country,"
Billy said with a grin.
"Although having said that, we're fast catching up."
Lauren frowned, her professional instincts kicking in. "Don't say that, Billy," she said firmly. "We don't want to be compared with them. We're too small a team to have to deal with murder after murder." Billy's grin faded slightly.
"I think it's a bit late for that, Mum. Now we've got Sarge working here, he seems to have brought the murder vibe with him. Not that I'm complaining, because it beats sorting out graffiti."
The man behind the bar came over, and Lauren gave their drinks order, her mind churning over Billy's words. Was he right? Had Matt really brought all the murders with him? No, that was ridiculous. It didn't work that way. She pushed the thought aside. "It would be nice for you to visit the big city," she said, forcing a lighter tone. "And maybe Ellie will show you around the station, so you can see what it's like to work in such an environment."
"Yes, but I'm happy here. You know that,"
Billy said, his voice serious.
"At one time I thought I'd like to leave for a more exciting force, but not now. This is my home, and I like it here."
He chuckled.
"I must have been hanging around with Clem for too long. I'm sounding old before my time."
After paying for the drinks, they headed back to the table. It was strange that Billy had confided in her, especially as in the past they'd had a rocky relationship, mainly because she'd wanted him to conform more. But now she was more relaxed about his behaviour and appreciated him for who he was. Ellie had certainly been a good influence on him. Hopefully it would continue when the two were living so far apart. Once the drinks had been distributed and Lauren and Billy had sat down, Tamsin raised her glass. "I'd like to make a toast to me starting work on Monday, and Ellie, thank you for everything. You've been a great roommate and I'm going to miss you." "We're going to miss you at work too," Jenna added, her eyes slightly misty. "Thank you," Ellie said, blushing slightly. "I'm going to miss you too."
"Especially me,"
Billy said, waving his arms and nearly knocking over his drink in the process. "Especially you, Billy," Ellie said with a smile, her eyes soft as she looked at him.
"I'm Matt, Sarge,"
Billy added hastily, realising his slip.
Yes,
"And Matt," Ellie said. Lauren was about to add to Tamsin's words when her phone rang. Seeing the number, she frowned. The cheerful atmosphere of the pub had suddenly become distant and unreal. "Sorry, I've got to get this," she said, hurriedly leaving the table. She answered the phone while moving to a quiet corner of the pub. The sounds of laughter and clinking glasses faded into the background as she pressed the phone to her ear. "Lauren speaking."
"Sorry to bother you, Lauren,"
her Aunt Julia said, her voice shaky.
"Something's happened, and you were the only person I could think of to call."
Shock surged through Lauren's body as she listened to her aunt explain what had happened, and the pub's warm atmosphere turned stifling. This wasn't something Lauren could ignore. She had to act straight away. At the end of the call, she returned to the table and caught Matt's eye. She nodded for him to follow her over to a table close by. The others were too busy laughing at another of Billy's jokes and didn't notice the pair of them leave.
"What's the matter, Mum?"
Matt asked as they sat down, his face etched with concern. Lauren dragged in a deep breath while still reeling from the news. The sounds of the pub seemed to fade away, leaving only the pounding of her heart in her ears.
"I've got to go and can't stay for the curry. Something's come up which I have to deal with straight away." "What is it?"
Matt pressed gently, his eyes searching her face. Lauren paused, the weight of the words she was about to say pressing down on her.
"My Aunt Julia has been arrested for the murder of my Uncle Roy."
Matt's eyebrows shot up, his face paling.
"Did she do it?"
he asked, his voice thick with shock.
"I don't know."
The enormity of the situation began to sink in, and a cold dread settled over her.
"She used her only phone call to contact me. I've got to arrange for a solicitor, but first I want to see her. She's at Bodmin Station." "Would you like me to come with you?"
Matt offered, already half rising from his seat. His loyalty touched her, even in this moment of crisis. Lauren shook her head, knowing she had to handle this alone.
"Thanks for offering. I appreciate it more than you know, but it's not necessary. You stay here and enjoy the party. This is going to be a long process."
Her voice trembled slightly, betraying her inner turmoil. Matt sat back down, his brow furrowed.
"Is it something she could have done?"
he asked, his voice barely audible over the pub's noise.
"I didn't ask, but I wouldn't blame her if she did. He's given her hell over the years, emotionally and physically. If she is guilty, then I certainly hope there are mitigating circumstances."
She stood up. "Go and enjoy the party. Please tell the team that something's come up, but don't say what."
"Of course I won't,"
Matt reassured her.
"Thanks. Could you please tell Ellie goodbye from me and remind her to keep in touch?" "Will do, Mum,"
Matt said, still looking worried.
"I'll see you on Monday, but if you need anything before then, let me know. I'm around all weekend."
"Thanks, Matt," Lauren said, managing a small smile. "But you have your dad to take care of. How is he?"
"He's good. It's better now he's home. Anyway, remember I'm here for you."
"Thanks. This isn't going to be an easy situation to deal with." The understatement of her words hung in the air between them. Lauren made her way through the pub, a kaleidoscope of thoughts messing with her head. The celebratory atmosphere of moments ago felt like a distant memory, replaced by a sense of uncertainty. Now, she faced difficult conversations and legal complications, and just when she thought things were quietening down. But she owed it to her aunt, the only person who had really cared about Lauren since her parents had died. Lauren stepped out into the cool night air and squared her shoulders. Whatever challenges arose, she'd face them head-on as she always did. Her aunt needed her, and that was where she had to be. The detective in her was already analysing the situation, but the niece in her was determined to be there no matter what. She thought of Matt's words.
"I'm here for you."
It was a small comfort, but helped. Lauren was determined to find a way through this, for herself and for her aunt. Whatever lay ahead, she was ready to face it, one step at a time. We hope you have enjoyed this Storm Publishing production of Death at Porthcurno Cove, written by Sally Rigby and read by Claire Corbett. Produced by 2020 Recordings. Copyright Sally Rigby 2025. Production copyright Storm Publishing 2025. All rights reserved. The moral rights of the author have been asserted.
If I leave this house, it will be in handcuffs. I should have run for it while I had the chance. Now my shot is gone. Now that the police officers are in the house and they've discovered what's upstairs, there's no turning back. They're about 5 seconds away from reading me my rights. I'm not sure why they haven't done it yet. Maybe they're hoping to trick me into telling them something I shouldn't. Good luck with that. The cop with the black hair threaded with gray is sitting on the sofa next to me. He shifts his stocky frame on the burnt caramel Italian leather. I wonder what sort of sofa he has at home. It sure doesn't cost 5 figures like this one did. It's probably some tacky color like orange, covered in pet fur, and with more than one rip in the seams. I wonder if he's thinking about his sofa at home and wishing he had one like this. Or, more likely, he's thinking about the dead body in the attic upstairs. So, let's go through this one more time, the cop says in his New York drawl. He told me his name earlier, but it flew out of my head. Police officers should wear bright red name tags. How else are you possibly supposed to remember their names in a high-stress situation? He's a detective, I think. When did you find the body? I pause, wondering if this would be the right time to demand a lawyer. Aren't they supposed to offer me one? I'm rusty on this protocol. About an hour ago, I answer. Why did you go up there in the first place? I press my lips together. I told you, I heard a sound. And? The officer leans forward, his eyes wide. He has a rough stubble on his chin, like he might have skipped shaving this morning. His tongue protrudes slightly from between his lips. I'm not stupid. I know exactly what he wants me to say. I did it. I'm guilty. Take me away. Instead, I lean back against the sofa. That's it. That's everything I know. Disappointment washes over the detective's face. He works his jaw as he thinks over the evidence that has been found so far in this house. He's wondering if he's got enough to snap those cuffs on my wrists yet. He isn't sure. If he were sure, he would have done it already. Hey, Connors! It's the voice of another officer. We break eye contact, and I look up at the top of the staircase. The other, much younger cop is standing there, his long fingers clutching the top of the banister. His unlined face is pale. Connors, the younger officer says, you gotta come up here. Now. You gotta see what's up here. Even from the bottom of the stairs, I can see his Adam's apple bobbing. You won't believe it. Part 1. 3 months earlier. Chapter 1. Millie. Tell me about yourself, Millie. Nina Winchester leans forward on her caramel-colored leather sofa, her legs crossed to reveal just the slightest hint of her knees peeking out under her silky white skirt. I don't know much about labels, but it's obvious everything Nina Winchester is wearing is painfully expensive. Her cream blouse makes me long to reach out to feel the material, even though a move like that would mean I'd have no chance of getting hired. To be fair, I have no chance of getting hired anyway. Well, I begin, choosing my words carefully. Even after all the rejections, I still try. I grew up in Brooklyn. I've had a lot of jobs doing housework for people, as you can see from my resume. my carefully doctored resume. And I love children. And also, I glance around the room, looking for a doggy chew toy or a cat litter box. I love pets as well. The online ad for the housekeeper job didn't mention pets, but better to be safe. Who doesn't appreciate an animal lover? Brooklyn! Mrs. Winchester beams at me. I grew up in Brooklyn, too. We're practically neighbors. We are, I confirm, even though nothing could be further from the truth. There are plenty of coveted neighborhoods in Brooklyn where you'll fork over an arm and a leg for a tiny townhouse. That's not where I grew up. Nina Winchester and I couldn't be more different. But if she'd like to believe we're neighbors, then I'm only too happy to go along with it. Mrs. Winchester tucks a strand of shiny golden blonde hair behind her ear. Her hair is chin-length, cut into a fashionable bob that de-emphasizes her double chin. She's in her late 30s, and with a different hairstyle and different clothing, she would be very ordinary looking. But she's used her considerable wealth to make the most of what she's got. I can't say I don't respect that. I've gone the exact opposite direction with my appearance. I may be over 10 years younger than the woman sitting across from me, but I don't want her to feel at all threatened by me. So for my interview, I selected a long, chunky wool skirt that I bought at the thrift store, and a polyester white blouse with puffy sleeves. My dirty blonde hair is pulled back into a severe bun behind my head. I even purchased a pair of oversized and unnecessary tortoiseshell glasses that sit perched on my nose. I look professional and utterly unattractive. So the job, she says. It will be mostly cleaning and some light cooking if you're up for it. Are you a good cook, Millie? Yes, I am. My ease in the kitchen is the only thing on my resume that isn't a lie. I'm an excellent cook. Her pale blue eyes light up. Oh, that's wonderful. Honestly, we almost never have a good home-cooked meal. She titters. Who has the time? I bite back any kind of judgmental response. Nina Winchester doesn't work. She only has one child who's in school all day, and she's hiring somebody to do all her cleaning for her. I even saw a man in her enormous front yard doing her gardening for her. How is it possible she doesn't have time to cook a meal for her small family? I shouldn't judge her. I don't know anything about what her life is like. Just because she's rich, it doesn't mean she's spoiled. But if I had to bet $100 either way, I bet Nina Winchester is spoiled rotten. And we'll need occasional help with Cecilia as well, Mrs. Winchester says. Perhaps taking her to her afternoon lessons or play dates. You have a car, don't you? I almost laugh at her question. Yes, I do have a car. It's all I have right now. My 10-year-old Nissan is stinking up the street in front of her house, and it's where I am currently living. Everything I own is in the trunk of that car. I've spent the last month sleeping in the back seat. After a month of living in your car, you realize the importance of some of the little things in life. A toilet, a sink, being able to straighten your legs out while you're sleeping. I miss that last one most of all. Yes, I have a car, I confirm. Excellent! Mrs. Winchester claps her hands together. I'll provide you with a car seat for Cecilia, of course. She just needs a booster seat. She's not quite at the weight and height level to be without the booster yet. The Academy of Pediatrics recommends... While Nina Winchester drones on about the exact height and weight requirements for car seats, I take a moment to glance around the living room. The furnishing is all ultra-modern, with the largest flat-screen television I've ever seen, which I'm sure is high definition and has surround sound speakers built into every nook and cranny of the room for optimal listening experience. In the corner of the room is what appears to be a working fireplace, the mantel littered with photographs of the Winchesters on trips to every corner of the world. When I glance up, The insanely high ceiling glows under the light of a sparkling chandelier. "Don't you think so, Millie?" Mrs. Winchester is saying. I blink at her. I attempt to rewind my memory and figure out what she had just asked me, but it's gone. "Yes?" I say. Whatever I agreed to has made her very happy. "I'm so pleased you think so too." "Absolutely," I say more firmly this time. She uncrosses and recrosses her somewhat stocky legs. "And, of course," she adds, "there's the matter of reimbursement for you. You saw the offer in my advertisement, right? Is that acceptable to you?" I swallow. The number in the advertisement is more than acceptable. If I were a cartoon character, dollar signs would have appeared in each of my eyeballs when I read that advertisement. But the money almost stopped me from applying for the job. Nobody offering that much money, living in a house like this one, would ever consider hiring me. "Yes," I choke out. "It's fine." She arches an eyebrow. "And you know it's a live-in position, right?" Is she asking me if I'm okay with leaving the splendor of the backseat of my Nissan? "Right, I know." "Fabulous." She tugs at the hem of her skirt and rises to her feet. "Would you like the grand tour then? See what you're getting yourself into?" I stand up as well. In her heels, Mrs. Winchester is only a few inches taller than I am in my flats, but it feels like she's much taller. Sounds great. She guides me through the house in painstaking detail, to the point where I'm worried I got the ad wrong, and maybe she's a realtor thinking I'm ready to buy. It is a beautiful house. If I had $4 or $5 million burning a hole in my pocket, I would snap it up. In addition to the ground level containing the gigantic living room and the newly renovated kitchen, the second floor of the house features the Winchesters' master bedroom, her daughter Cecilia's room, Mr. Winchester's home office, and a guest bedroom that could be straight out of the best hotel in Manhattan. She pauses dramatically in front of the subsequent door. "And here is..." She flings the door open. "Our home theater." It's a legit movie theater right inside their home, in addition to the oversized television downstairs. This room has several rows of stadium seating facing a floor-to-ceiling monitor. There's even a popcorn machine in the corner of the room. After a moment, I notice Mrs. Winchester is looking at me, waiting for a response. "Wow," I say with what I hope is appropriate enthusiasm. "Isn't it marvelous?" She shivers with delight. "And we have a full library of movies to choose from. Of course, we also have all the usual channels as well as streaming services." "Of course," I say. After we leave the room, we come to a final door at the end of the hallway. Nina pauses, her hand lingering on the doorknob. "Would this be my room?" I ask. "Sort of." She turns the doorknob, which creaks loudly. I can't help but notice the wood of this door is much thicker than any of the others. Behind the doorway, there's a dark stairwell. "Your room is upstairs. We have a finished attic as well." This dark, narrow staircase is somewhat less glamorous than the rest of the house. And would it kill them to stick a light bulb in here? But of course, I'm the hired help. I wouldn't expect her to spend as much money on my room as she would on the home theater. At the top of the stairs is a little narrow hallway. Unlike on the first floor of the house, the ceiling is dangerously low here. I'm not tall by any means, but I almost feel like I need to stoop down. "You have your own bathroom?" She nods at a door on the left. "And this would be your room right here." She flings open the last door. It's completely dark inside until she tugs on a string and the room lights up. The room is tiny. There's no two ways about it. Not only that, but the ceiling is slanted with the roof of the house. The far side of the ceiling only comes about up to my waist. Instead of the huge king-size bed in the Winchesters' master bedroom, with their armoire and chestnut vanity table, this room contains a small single cot, a half-height bookcase, and a small dresser, lit by 2 naked bulbs suspended from the ceiling. This room is modest, but that's fine with me. If it were too nice, it would be a certainty I have no shot at this job. The fact that this room is kind of crappy means maybe her standards are low enough that I have a teeny tiny chance. But there's something else about this room. Something that's bothering me. Sorry it's small. Mrs. Winchester pulls a frown. But you'll have a lot of privacy here. I walk over to the single window. Like the room, it's small, barely larger than my hand, and it overlooks the backyard. There's a landscaper down there, the same guy I saw out at the front window, hacking at one of the hedges with an oversized set of clippers. So what do you think, Millie? Do you like it? I turn away from the window to look at Mrs. Winchester's smiling face. I still can't quite put my finger on what's bothering me. There's something about this room that's making a little ball of dread form in the pit of my stomach. Maybe it's the window. It looks out on the back of the house. If I were in trouble and trying to get somebody's attention, nobody would be able to see me back here. I could scream and yell all I wanted, and nobody would hear. But who am I kidding? I would be lucky to live in this room, with my own bathroom and an actual bed where I could straighten my legs out all the way. That tiny cot looks so good compared to my car. I could cry. It's perfect, I say. Mrs. Winchester seems ecstatic about my answer. She leads me back down the dark stairwell to the second floor of the house, and when I exit that stairwell, I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. There was something about that room that was very scary, but if I somehow manage to get this job, I'll get past it, easily. My shoulders finally relax, and my lips are forming another question when I hear a voice from behind us. Mommy? I stop short and turn around to see a little girl standing behind us in the hallway. The girl has the same light blue eyes as Nina Winchester, except a few shades paler, and her hair is so blonde that it's almost white. The girl is wearing a very pale blue dress trimmed in white lace, and she's staring at me like she can see right through me. Right through my soul. Do you know those movies about the scary cult of, creepy kids who can read minds and worship the devil and live in the cornfields or something? Well, if they were casting for one of those movies, this girl would get the part. They wouldn't even have to audition her. They would take one look at her and be like, yes, you are creepy girl number 3. Cece! Mrs. Winchester exclaims. Are you back already from your ballet lesson? The girl nods slowly. Bella's mom dropped me off. Mrs. Winchester wraps her arms around the girl's skinny shoulders, but the girl's expression never changes, and her pale blue eyes never leave my face. Is there something wrong with me that I'm scared this 9-year-old girl is going to murder me? This is Millie, Mrs. Winchester tells her daughter. Millie, this is my daughter, Cecilia. Little Cecilia's eyes are 2 little pools of the ocean. It's nice to meet you, Millie, she says politely. I'd say there's at least a 25% chance she's going to murder me in my sleep if I get this job. But I still want it. Mrs. Winchester pecks her daughter on the top of her blonde head, and then the little girl scurries off to her bedroom. She doubtless has a creepy dollhouse in there where the dolls come to life at night. Maybe one of the dolls will be the one to kill me. Okay, I'm being ridiculous. That little girl is probably extremely sweet. It's not her fault she's been dressed in a creepy Victorian ghost child's outfit. And I love kids in general. Not that I've interacted with them much over the last decade. Once we get back down to the first floor, the tension leaves my body. Mrs. Winchester is nice and normal enough for a lady this rich. And as she chatters about the house and her daughter and the job, I'm only vaguely listening. All I know is this will be a lovely place to work. I would give my right arm to get this job. "Do you have any questions, Millie?" she asks me. I shake my head. "No, Mrs. Winchester." She clucks her tongue. "Oh, please, call me Nina. If you're working here, I would feel so silly with you calling me Mrs. Winchester." She laughs, like I'm some sort of rich old lady. "Thank you, Nina," I say. Her face glows, although that could be the seaweed or cucumber peel or whatever rich people apply to their faces. Nina Winchester is the sort of woman who has regular spa treatments. I have a good feeling about this, Millie. I really do. It's hard not to get caught up in her enthusiasm. It's hard not to feel that glimmer of hope as she squeezes my rough palm in her baby smooth one. I want to believe that in the next few days, I'll get a call from Nina Winchester offering me the opportunity to come work at her house and finally vacate Casa Nissan. I want to believe that so badly. But whatever else I can say about Nina, she's no dummy. She's not going to hire a woman to work and live in her home and take care of her child without doing a simple background check. And when she does, I swallow a lump in my throat. Nina Winchester bids a warm goodbye to me at the front door. "Thank you so much for coming by, Millie." She reaches out to clasp my hand in hers one more time. "I promise you'll be hearing from me soon." I won't. This will be the last time I set foot in that magnificent house. I should never have come here in the first place. I should have tried for a job I had a chance of getting instead of wasting both our time here. Maybe something in the fast food industry. The landscaper who I saw from the window in the attic is back on the front lawn. He's still got those giant clippers, and he's shaping one of the hedges right in front of the house. He's a big guy, wearing a t-shirt that shows off impressive muscles and just barely hides the tattoos on his upper arms. He adjusts his baseball cap, and his dark, dark eyes lift briefly from the clippers to meet mine across the lawn. I raise my hand in greeting. "Hi," I say. The man stares at me. He doesn't say hello. He doesn't say, "Quit trampling my posies." He just stares at me. "Nice to meet you, too," I mutter under my breath. I exit through the electronic metal gate that encircles the property and trudge back to my car/home. I look back one last time at the landscaper in the yard, and he is still watching me. There's something in his expression that sends a chill down my spine. And then he shakes his head, almost imperceptibly, almost like he's trying to warn me. But he doesn't say a word. Chapter 2. When you live in your car, you have to keep things simple. You're not going to be hosting any major gatherings, for one thing. No wine and cheese parties, no poker nights. That's fine because I don't have anyone I want to see. The bigger problem is where to take a shower. 3 days after I was evicted from my studio, which was 3 weeks after I got fired from my job, I discovered a rest stop that had showers. I almost cried with joy when I saw it. Yes, the showers have very little privacy and smell faintly of human waste, but at that point, I was desperate to be clean. Now I'm enjoying my lunch in the back seat of the car. I do have a hot plate that I can plug into the cigarette lighter for special occasions, but mostly I eat sandwiches. Lots and lots of sandwiches. I've got a cooler where I store the cold cuts and cheese, and I've got a loaf of white bread, 99 cents at the supermarket. And then snacks, of course. Bags of chips, crackers with peanut butter, Twinkies. The unhealthy options are endless. Today, I'm eating ham and American cheese with a dollop of mayonnaise. With every bite I take, I try not to think about how sick I am of sandwiches. After I've forced down half my sandwich, my phone rings in my pocket. I have one of those prepaid flip phones that people only use if they're going to commit a crime, or else they've traveled back 15 years in the past. But I need a phone, and this is all I can afford. "Wilhelmina Calloway?" a woman's clipped voice says on the other line. I wince at the use of my full name. Wilhelmina was my father's mother, who was long gone. I don't know what sort of psychopaths would name their child Wilhelmina, but I don't speak to my parents anymore. And likewise, they don't speak to me, so it's a little late to ask. Anyway, I've always just been Millie, and I try to correct people as quickly as I can. But I get the feeling that whoever is calling me isn't somebody I'm going to be on a first-name basis with anytime soon. "Yes? Miss Calloway," the woman says. "This is Donna Stanton from Munch Burgers." Oh, right. Munch Burgers. The greasy fast food joint that granted me an interview a few days ago. I would be flipping burgers or else manning the cash register. But if I worked hard, there was some opportunity for advancement. And better yet, an opportunity to have enough money to move out of my car. Of course, the job I really would have loved was at the Winchester household. But it's been a whole week since I met with Nina Winchester. It's safe to say I didn't get my dream job. "I just wanted to let you know," Ms. Stanton goes on, "that we've already filled the position at Munch Burgers, but we wish you luck with your job search." The ham and American cheese in my stomach churn. I'd read online that Munch Burgers didn't have very strict hiring practices, that even if I had a record, I might have a chance. This is the last interview I've managed to book, ever since Mrs. Winchester failed to call me back, and I'm desperate. I can't eat one more sandwich in my car. I just can't. "Miss Stanton," I blurt out, "I'm just wondering if you might be able to hire me at any other location. I'm a really hard worker. I'm very reliable. I stop talking. She's already hung up. I clutch my sandwich in my right hand as I grip my phone in my left. This is hopeless. Nobody wants to hire me. Every potential employer looks at me in the exact same way. All I want is a fresh start. I'll work my butt off if I have to. I'll do whatever it takes. I fight back tears, although I don't know why I'm bothering. Nobody will see me crying in the backseat of my Nissan. There isn't anybody who cares about me anymore. My parents wiped their hands of me more than 10 years ago. My phone rings again, startling me out of my pity party. I wipe my eyes with the back of my hand and click the green button to take the call. "Hello," I croak. "Hi, is this Millie?" The voice sounds vaguely familiar. I squeeze the phone to my ear, my heart leaping. "Yes?" "This is Nina Winchester. You interviewed with me last week?" "Oh." I bite down hard on my lower lip. Why is she calling back now? I assumed she had already hired somebody and decided not to inform me. "Yes, of course." "So, if you're interested, we would be delighted to offer you the job." I feel a rush of blood to my head that makes me almost dizzy. "We would be delighted to offer you the job." Is she serious? It was conceivable that Munch Burgers might hire me, but it seemed outright impossible that a woman like Nina Winchester might invite me into her home to live. Is it possible she didn't check my references? Didn't do a simple background check? Maybe she's just so busy she never got around to it. Maybe she's one of those women who prides herself on gut feelings. "Millie, are you there?" I realize I've been completely silent on the other line. I'm that stunned. Yes, I'm here. So, are you interested in the position? I am. I'm trying not to sound too ridiculously eager. I definitely am. I would love to work for you. Work with me, Nina corrects me. I let out a strangled laugh. Right, of course. So, when can you start? When would you like me to start? As soon as possible. I'm jealous of Nina's easy laugh that sounds so different from my own. If only I could snap my fingers and trade places with her. We have a ton of laundry that needs folding. I swallow. How about tomorrow? That would be wonderful. But don't you need time to get your stuff packed? I don't want to tell her that everything I own is already in the trunk of my car. I'm a fast packer. She laughs again. I love your spirit, Millie. I can't wait for you to come work here. As Nina and I exchange details about tomorrow, I wonder if she would feel the same way about me if she knew I spent the last 10 years of my life in prison. Chapter 3. I arrive at the Winchester home the next morning, after Nina has already dropped Cecilia off at school. I park outside the metal gate surrounding their property. I've never been in a house that was protected by a gate before, much less lived there. But this swanky Long Island neighborhood seems to be all gated houses. Considering how low the crime rate is around here, it seems like overkill. But who am I to judge? Everything else being equal, if I had a choice between a house with a gate and a house with no gate, I'd pick the gate too. The gate was open when I arrived yesterday, but today it's closed. Locked, apparently. I stand there a moment, my 2 duffel bags at my feet, trying to figure out how to get inside. There doesn't seem to be any sort of doorbell or buzzer. But that landscaper is on the property again, crouched in the dirt, a shovel in his hand. Excuse me, I call out. The man glances over his shoulder at me, then goes back to digging. Real nice. Excuse me, I say again, loud enough that he can't ignore me. This time, he slowly gets to his feet. He's in absolutely no hurry as he ambles across the giant front lawn to the entrance to the gate. He pulls off his thick rubber gloves and raises his eyebrows at me. Hi, I say, trying to hide my annoyance with him. My name is Millie Calloway, and it's my first day working here. I'm just trying to get inside because Mrs. Winchester is expecting me. He doesn't say anything. From across the yard, I had only noticed how big he is. At least a head taller than me, with biceps the size of my thighs. But up close, I realize he's actually pretty hot. He looks to be in his mid-30s with thick, jet black hair, damp from exertion, olive skin, and rugged good looks. But his most striking feature is his eyes. His eyes are very black, so dark, I can't distinguish the pupil from the iris. Something about his gaze makes me take a step back. So, can you help me? I ask. The man finally opens his mouth. I expect him to tell me to get lost or to show him some ID, but instead, he lets loose with a string of rapid Italian. At least, I think it's Italian. I can't say I know a word of the language, but I saw an Italian movie with subtitles once, and it sort of sounded like this. Oh, I say when he finishes his monologue. So, no English? English? He says in a voice so heavily accented, it's clear what the answer is. No English. Great. I clear my throat, trying to figure out the best way to express what I need to tell him. So I point to my chest. I am working for Mrs. Winchester? I point to the house. And I need to get inside. Now I point to the lock on the gate. Inside? He just frowns at me. Great. I'm about ready to dig out my phone and call Nina when he goes off to the side, hits some sort of switch, and the gates swing open, almost in slow motion. Once the gates are open, I take a moment to gaze up at the house that will be my home for the foreseeable future. The house is 2 stories plus the attic, sprawling over what looks like about the length of a city block in Brooklyn. It's almost blindingly white, possibly freshly painted, and the architecture looks contemporary, but what do I know? I just know it looks like the people living here have more money than they know what to do with. I start to pick up one of my bags, but before I can, the guy picks up both of them without even grunting, and carries them to the front door for me. Those bags are very heavy. They contain literally everything I own, aside from my car, so I'm grateful he volunteered to do the heavy lifting for me. Gracias, I say. He gives me a funny look. That might have been Spanish. Oh well. I point to my chest. Millie, I say. Millie. He nods in understanding, then points to his own chest. I am Enzo. Nice to meet you, I say awkwardly, even though he won't understand me. God, if he lives here and has a job, he must have picked up a little English. Piacere di conoscerti, he says. I nod wordlessly. So much for making friends with the landscaping guy. Millie, he says again in his thick Italian accent. He looks like he has something to say, but he's struggling with the language. He hisses a word in Italian. But as soon as we hear the front door start to unlock, Enzo hurries back to where he had been, crouched in the front yard, and makes himself very busy. I could just barely make out the word he said. Pericolo, whatever that means. Maybe it means he wants a soft drink? Pericola? Now with the twist of lime. Millie! Nina looks delighted to see me. So delighted that she throws her arms around me and squashes me in a hug. I'm so glad you decided to take the job. I just felt like you and I had a connection, you know? That's what I thought. She got a gut feeling about me, so she didn't bother to do the research. Now, I just have to make sure she never has any reason not to trust me. I have to be the perfect employee. Yes, I know what you mean. I feel the same way. Well, come in! Nina grabs the crook of my elbow and leads me into the house, oblivious to the fact that I'm struggling with my 2 pieces of luggage. Not that I would have expected her to help me. It wouldn't have even occurred to her. I can't help but notice when I walk inside that the house looks very different from the first time I was here. Very different. When I came for the interview, the Winchester house was immaculate. I could have eaten off any surface in the room. But now, the place looks like a pigsty. The coffee table in front of the sofa has 6 cups on it, with varying amounts of different sticky liquids in them. About a dozen crumpled newspapers and magazines, and a dented pizza box. There's clothing and garbage strewn all over the living room, and the dining table still has the remains of dinner last night. As you can see, Nina says, you haven't arrived a moment too soon. So, Nina Winchester is a slob. That's her secret. It's going to take me hours to get this place in any decent condition. Maybe days. But that's fine. I've been itching to do some good, honest, hard work. And I like that she needs me. If I can make myself invaluable to her, she's less likely to fire me if, or when, she finds out the truth. Let me just put my bags away, I tell her, and then I'll get the entire place tidied up. Nina lets out a happy sigh. You are a miracle, Millie. Thank you so much. Also, She grabs her purse off the kitchen counter and rifles around inside, finally pulling out the latest iPhone. I got you this. I couldn't help but notice you were using a very outdated phone. If I need to reach you, I'd like you to have a reliable means of communication. I hesitantly wrap my fingers around the brand new iPhone. Wow, this is really generous of you, but I can't afford a plan. She waves a hand. I added you to our family plan. It cost almost nothing. Almost nothing. I have a feeling her definition of those two words is very different from mine. Before I can protest further, the sound of footsteps echoes on the stairs behind me. I turn around, and a man in a gray business suit is making his way down the stairwell. When he sees me standing in the living room, he stops short at the base of the stairs, as if shocked by my presence. His eyes widen further when he notices my luggage. Andy! Nina calls out. Come meet Millie! This must be Andrew Winchester. When I was Googling the Winchester family, my eyes popped out a bit when I saw this man's net worth. After seeing all those dollar signs, the home theater and the gate surrounding the property made a bit more sense. He's a businessman who took over his father's thriving company and has doubled the profits since. But it's obvious from his surprised expression that he allows his wife to handle most of the household matters, and it's apparently flat out slipped her mind to tell him she's hired a live-in housekeeper. Hello. Mr. Winchester steps into the living room, his brow furrowed. Millie, is it? I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Andy, I told you about her. She tilts her head to the side. I said we needed to hire somebody to help with cleaning and cooking and Cecilia. I'm sure I told you. Yes, well... His face finally relaxes. Welcome, Millie. We could certainly use the help. Andrew Winchester holds his hand out for me to shake. It's hard not to notice he is an incredibly handsome man. Piercing brown eyes, a full head of hair the color of mahogany, and a sexy little cleft in his chin. It's also hard not to notice that he is several levels more attractive than his wife, even with her impeccable grooming, which strikes me as a bit strange. The man is filthy rich, after all. He could have any woman he wants. I respect him for not choosing a 20-year-old supermodel to be his life partner. I thrust my new phone into my jeans pocket and reached out to take his hand. Nice to meet you, Mr. Winchester. Please, he smiles warmly at me. Call me Andrew. As he says the words, something flickers over Nina Winchester's face. Her lips twitch and her eyes narrow.